Diana a former Deputy Attorney General, and my assistant girls. Dean, School of Law, University of London. Publicly known by everyone as Uncle Sam, Mr. Sam Okuchetu. Thank you very much. Such a pillar in the legal community. Dr. Ofosu Dote, if he's in, if he's in. Okay. We have very eminent members of the bar, including the Greater Accra Regional President. We are coming up. I'm saving. And another old girl from the only school, and the GBA president, Madam. I'm afraid every time I can throw in mostly because you will hear it, so do bear with us. We are a very proud bunch. To everyone else here, welcome, and thank you so much for gracing this occasion with your presence. We couldn't have done it with just 10 people, so we are very honored to have you here. We will start now with the national anthem. Please, shall we rise to give honor to our motherland? Thank you. You may take your seats. We will invite the Dean of the School of Law, Professor Raymond Atuguba, to welcome us officially. Prof, please welcome.
Thank you, Mami. So I have a brief speech here, but I've decided not to read it. I'll read only the conclusion. Because when I got into the hall this morning, I looked around and saw the people who have come in here to the law school today. I became overwhelmed. It's not easy to have this assembly of people at one place, at one location. So the first thing I want to say is thank you. Thank you all for making the time, for the commitment. I'm here this morning in celebration of a remarkable woman. That's point number one. The second of the 3 points I want to make is about the remarkable woman, Professor Ipia Quinea, the dean who employed me to the University of Ghana School of Law. The remarkable thing about her is that she engaged in gender activism with traction and staying power. I have done some gender things without traction and without staying power. The difference is that she was consistent. Her work, academic, extension work, had traction and had staying power. And that's why we're here today to celebrate her. The third and last thing I want to talk about before I read the conclusion conclusion is that for a couple of years now, we've been working on a legal history museum. The Legal History Museum is going to be housed on the 6th floor of our new law school building, a building that will not have all the access problems that we encountered today. In that museum, we would have not only historical legal documents, such as the travaux preparatoires of the various constitutions, we'd also have audio and video recordings from some of the most astute personalities in law in Ghana. The first interview, which lasted 4 to 5 hours, was conducted a couple of weeks ago with Dr. S.K. Biasanti, who was the first head of department of this place in 1958. The information I have about the content of that interview is amazing. The second interview will be conducted in mid-March with Professor Eko Daniels in his 90s. The third interview, also in mid-March, would be with Professor Ofusoma, who was dean when I entered the law school. And that would also be in mid-March. The fourth interview would be with Professor Pierre. And that is going to be a surprise, because it will not just be an interview, it will be a follow-up to today's events. So I will now conclude by reading the conclusion to my speech. As we move forward into this program, let us remember that policies and plans alone do not create people. Responsibility to uphold these principles and for us. May this gathering be a practice as we make history together. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dean. Dean, I believe you have done this would suffice for conversion. I believe our taught lectures through us. We shall have remarks by the IAWL board chair, but before that, I'd like to also especially recognize the senior members of the University of Ghana. I see quite a few professors and other senior members amongst us, and also the former registrar, Mr. Teddy Kunu, was also here, so thank you very much. Professor Kosia Dakwa, I promised I would mention your name specially. So, and then also to have senior members from the University of Ghana School of Law, my colleagues, please shall we rise and let everyone see the kind of the people who are working hard here to raise the next generation of lawyers. Yes, Pew, I know you are shy. Please acknowledge that we are working very hard. We've just had a very traumatic weekend marking. If you've ever marked student scripts, you will know that we are dealing currently with PTSD in this room. So please have Ms. Elizabeth Edu, board chair of the IAWL. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And after the Dean's short remarks, the pressure is on me to make my remarks even shorter. It's a real pleasure that we are here today, not only for the adoption of the gender equality in law policy, but particularly to honor my big sister, Professor Kwenye here, who I've known throughout my life as a lawyer. She has been an inspiration providing us with the guidance and direction that some of us really needed to start off with. At the IAWL, we have been and are committed to supporting the work of women in law across Africa and the diaspora. As the Dean said, the role of people, of leaders, in making sure that policies are not only developed but are implemented key. It's wonderful that today we are not only putting in place and recognizing a policy, but recognizing one of the leaders among the many leaders who are here with us today. I look around and I am awed by all the leaders here. So we congratulate Professor Kwakwenye here. We congratulate the law school, of which I'm an alumni. If I tell you when I came to law school, some of you will be a bit worried about that. So, but it's so nice to be back here. I've, been out working at the World Bank for most of my career, and to come back home and to be with this group of people and to see people like Uncle Sam and others here to support the law school and the Institute for African Women in Law as we move forward with this agenda. So thank you all. I'm looking forward to the rest of the discussions and the presentation. Thank you.
We will proceed to the adoption of the policy. Before that, we'd like you to watch a video.
In 2022, IWO conducted extensive for-country research on women in law and identified multiple challenges that they face. 4 of the issues were most crucial: sexual harassment, equal pay for equal work, equitable hiring and promotion, and gender bias and stereotypes. The 4 issues are the focus of the Gender Equality in Law campaign, leading to the IWO model policy. In making the model policy, IWO convened legal and gender experts from 6 African countries to review the policy over 7 weeks. The review process ended with a high-level experts forum. There was also a stakeholders meeting of representatives from 7 bar associations on the continent. The model policy is readily available on the IWO's website. We call on all bar associations and law firms to adopt it and make the necessary changes to fit their workplace structure. Let us actively join in the Gender Equality in Law campaign to do more.
We will call on Professor Dawuni to come and introduce the model policy to us properly before we go on to the adoption. Prof, please, with a round of applause. This lady has worked tirelessly for this.
Good morning, everyone, and to those watching online, thank you for joining. I've been given 5 minutes by the MC, so I will make good on that promise to stay within my time. And for that, I'm going to speak on 3 quick topics. 1, leadership. 2, equity. And 3, congratulations. Before I do that, I would like to also extend all the protocols to Professor Kwakwenye here, Judge Kwakwenye here, and Auntie Kwakwenye here. So those are the 3 titles I have for her. I would also extend my protocols to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana. The Chief Justice is on her way, so I'll put her congratulations on the side. And of course, all other protocols observed: Uncle Sam, Ambassador Bosman, Mrs. Estelle, the Justices of the Supreme Court, colleagues from the University of Ghana, University of Ghana School of Law, and everyone who has come out to join us. So I have 4 minutes. Point number 1, leadership. We heard the Dean talk about the fact that it takes people to make policies work. And I would add on to that, leadership matters. Of course, as some of you may know, we are here today in this building. And some of you may not know because of Professor Ikea Kwenyi here. Her leadership, her drive, her passion for legal education, not just in investing in people like myself. And I told her that I wore blue today because as a law student in that old building down there, I used to watch from the window as she would come with her driver in a blue car. And she said it's a VW in honor of that leadership. So we thank you for the leadership you exhibited, not just in the building, but in women's rights, and of course, in planting the seed for many of us. I also want to speak to leadership, which has transferred over, as we see many deans since she left office. But Dean Atuguba, a leader who exemplifies someone who is willing and able to put words into action. When I called him after we launched this policy in July last year, and I said, we want to get you to adopt it, he did not hesitate. He quickly got together a team to review the policy to make sure that it was streamlined into the University of Ghana policies, Chancellor's policies on gender equality work that they've been doing on campus, to make sure that the University of Ghana School of Law would be the first public institution to adopt this policy. Leadership. He didn't only speak, but each time I sent him a text, he will respond quickly, despite how busy he is. So Dean Atuguba, thank you for exemplifying leadership that puts action or words into action. Because of your yes, we are here today. Leadership. This week, we are moving on to visit a couple of law firms. I'll call them top law firms in Ghana. We can debate whether or not. But they are the law firms who are also adopting our policy. AB and David, Sena Okujato and Associates, BNP and Associates, ENS Ghana, and others. Thank you for your leadership, for showing that when law firms create policies that recognize their women and their men, that their institutions continue to flourish. We've been working with the Judicial Service of Ghana under the Chief Justice to ensure that they also adopt the policy. We are making progress. Lastly, leadership. We've been discussing with the Ghana Bar Association, and I am very hopeful that the Ghana Bar Association will adopt this policy because we know that we have a high number of women lawyers, and it's time we address some of these concerns. And I'm very hopeful and very excited that Madam President Ifwagati, Madam Vice President Victoria Bath will make the magic happen. Leadership. Last 2 points, I have to hand over the mic. Equity. Gender equality is not a handout. We are not asking, women are not asking for a handout for special treatment. We are just simply asking for our God-given, inalienable rights, which is also called human rights. That is all we want. So we can flourish and walk in the shoes of Professor Kwenyi here, who, as a woman, exhibited leadership because she got the systems to be in place for all of us. So Blazer, a maker, she made things happen. Please scan the QR code on your program, read about her chapter, and of course, make sure you listen to the audio recording when it comes out. I am looking forward to that historic live. Thank you once again, Dean, for doing that. So, on that note of LEG, I like acronyms, equity, and congratulations. Professor Kwenyi here, we congratulate you. We thank you for all the seeds you've sown, and we pray and hope that we all will continue to look to you and follow in your footsteps. I will continue to wear blue for the sake of your blue car. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you.
This program is an endangered. So we'll call upon Professor Tuguba, Professor Dona Hammond, Prof. Dawuni, and Miss Betty Edu to help us to do the adoption. Could you please move to the table in the corner and then for a minute, I almost said, please move to the vestry. It felt like a wedding moment. Thank you very much. And congratulations to University of Ghana for, as always and as usual, leading the way in things of national importance. I have no slot for my own speech, but I'd just like to say that we are very proud to be at the top of this, to be at the head, and hope that other universities will come on board and other places in the legal fraternity will come on board so that we can together make gender equality in law a reality. I would like to invite the president of the Ghana Bar Association, Madam Efua Gati, to give us a few remarks.
Thank you very much. Professor Ikwakwin here, my Vice Chancellor. And I need to add two past presidents of the bar who are here. Mr. Kofi Kwenyehia and Mr. Sam Okucheto. Good morning. It is a pleasure standing here on behalf of the bar to make some remarks. And Prof. Dawuni, let me start with what you said in your speech. That is about time that the bar adopted the policy. And then you went ahead to mention that now we have a female bar president and a female vice president. I want to thank you for your advocacy. And it is going to bear fruit in due course. Thank you for that. Then to a passionate and consummate professor,
And I refer to her as Antioquia, and she understands why. Even though she was the first female to be employed at the faculty, she was the first female law professor at the faculty, and she was the first female dean of the faculty. I know another side of her, which I would share. She was a wonderful mother and a role model par excellence. I have the rare opportunity of having her as my nanny when I was less than 6 years old at Oxford University. There, my father was a lecturer, Reverend Professor K. Dixon, and Antioquia was one of the Ghanaians who readily visited our. As the years went on, when I spoke to her, I realized that I didn't really make it. But she's forgiven me, and she still takes me under her wing. Then we entered the law faculty, Antioquia as a mother. Akofa, I believe she's here. And throughout the lecture, we didn't concentrate on what she was saying. We're looking at pretty Akofa, and we're wondering what she would do next. The good thing is that, Akofa, you discharged your self creditably, and you remained in one place till the lecture was over. But that spoke volumes to some of us, that there are times when you have to multitask. And she did it well. Her daughter came to class. Today, her daughter told me we went to several classes. So that tells you that she was a mother who cared for her children. And then I remember the 2016 Bar Conference, which was held in Ada. We were then trying to get some speakers together, including Honorable Ibn Chambers, and we approached Professor, and she most willingly agreed to be with us. She joined us at Ada, and in between, she kept on finding out from us how things are going and whether everything was going on the way we had wanted it to go. And she encouraged us to do the best in the circumstances because it was the first non-regional bar conference, and we succeeded at it. So thank you. Not too long ago, just about a little over a year, the 1989 class of law students, and I was a part of that class, we came together and started discussing on our platform how we can honor our lecturers. Sometimes we think that our lecturers may be overbearing, but it is all for our good ultimately. And so our class got together and we visited Antioquia, and they were so overjoyed to see her because years have worked their magic. Now we are wiser. Now we are mature. Now we value the input that they made in us. And Antioquia, I know that there is a Caleb who at the age of 85 was ready to take the mountain. I just want to encourage you. There is another mountain before you, We are yet to receive your memoirs, and we believe that it will be very rich. We can't imagine how rich it would be. And some of us are prepared to assist if need be to put it together. So, Auntie Kuya, this is coming from your naughty little girl. God bless you, God prosper you, and God continue to flourish you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I picked two things from Mrs. Ifwagati's message. I too have brought my daughter to class, although I'm not sure that I can say she sat there the whole time. And we had a criminal law class. I was teaching menstrual, and she was listening. I didn't realize how closely she was listening until after the class she came to me and said, "Mommy, I'm so traumatized." And I said, "Why?" I said, "Oh, that killing." Then it struck me that I was teaching criminal law and it was menstrual, so clearly it would be about a lot of killing. And I realized, wow, I have some hidden trauma also as a child of a professor of law, that I also sat through some classes. I believe that I also was triggered. But there are good lessons for as women that we may be called upon to have to do 3 or 4 things at the same time, and that we will do it because we can. So we asked our first years, our students, but most of us here are first year students. Are we? Level 100. Where are my level 100 students? Quite enough. Yes. And I hope that you are inspired and that you know that people have had challenges, but you can do it. And so you will. Although you have traumatized me after marking contract, but I will call upon Honorable Diana Asnabadapa for a few comments of her own. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mami. Good morning once again. Oh, it's afternoon now. I'm taking a cue from the Dean, today being short remarks day. I would like to identify with all the statements, yes. It is my desire that whatever wisdom we take in any discussion on gender equality and inequality will be translated to the homes where we come from. And why do I say that? I grew up in a home, the only girl among 3 boys, but I had no indication whatsoever that my gender was any inhibition whatsoever. It was rather when I was thrown out into the world. And so I would like to stress the importance of taking these wisdom that we learn at these assembly to the very home where we came from. Again, I grew up again, when I talk about growing up, my legal career in a law firm, Samokujeto and Associates, where again, I had no indication whatsoever that my gender inhibited me in any way, shape, or form from doing the things I could do. I was made in the firm to embrace my uniqueness as a woman, the beauty, and my capabilities. And so I cannot stress enough the importance of translating these policies, these ideas that we learn at these assemblies into our homes. And homes can mean different things, as I have highlighted. My home where I grew up, my home at the law firm. And so it gives me very great pleasure that we have a bar association. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Diana Snabadapa. And the father of her work home is right here. Mr. Sam Kujetu. So we'll take some comments from him as well.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I saw that there are ladies, only one gentleman. I don't know what that does with gender. It's gender equality. So Raymond, you are the odd one today. Well, I have the bad habit of calling anyone who is younger than me either my daughter or my son. And I have always called Ekwa my daughter. She is distinguished, there's no disputing about that issue. And the fact that my nephew was also smart enough to capture such a brain, that's just incredible. But I have watched her, I follow her since from here. At one time, many of you may not know, she was both the dean and also the director of the law school, all in one go. It has never happened, and perhaps it may never happen again. And that shows you the kind of history that she has made for our country. And when she ascended to the International Criminal Court, I had the privilege of visiting her over there and saw what she was doing. Even the fact that she even took my daughter as one of her interns. So you can see the level of affinity. Of course, his direct uncle was Makofi, who was almost like a brother to me. And so you cannot see the family connection that is involved in all this. So I admire her because she's a member of my family. I admire her because of her acumen, her determination. She's not frightened by any situation. She likes challenges and she works at challenges. And that's, I think, is a chance to all of you. I think we are one of the few countries in the world that this question about gender is not such a unique thing. Because, you know, Anija Age was the first woman in the Commonwealth to be a judge. And so that shows you that in Ghana, we are leaders and we have a leader of leaders amongst us. So congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Uncle Sam. We will now hear from Ambassador Anna Bossman. Yes, we've ambushed a few people.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I'm really very honored, first of all, to have been asked to say a few words about you. I think quite a lot has already been said, and I don't want to repeat it, but there are certain things that I think need to be emphasized here. This is a woman not only of great acumen, as Uncle Sam has said, but she's also a woman of integrity. And I think that is one of the most, for me, one of the most admirable things about you. I wanted to say my big sister, but she's also, you know, such a youthful person. I don't know whether I should say that. But a woman of integrity and a woman who's very modest, in spite of all the achievements that she has chalked in the world. A woman we've heard about her consistency. We've heard also about her courage and the fact that she doesn't say no to anything. Things are in front of her, they are difficult. We must think that it's difficult, but she looks at it as not only a challenge, but as an opportunity. And this is why, my dear sister, you are where you are today. And this is why you have people over here really admiring you, and especially young ones looking at you. And I will also echo what Ifwa just said. We need your memoirs. We need things that all these people here, including ourselves, will learn because we continue to learn. But I'd like to congratulate you most sincerely and most warmly for all that you have done, and especially for being a woman of substance. Thank you.
Thank you all for, please pardon me, because of the way my paper has disappeared each time now, I'm holding it so tightly. So we've heard a lot, but there's more that we can hear. We have a legacy video that we'd like you to watch and really see the amazing, amazing life of the honoree for today. Girls, we can have a legacy video.
Don't give up. If you give up, lost. Don't. Keep at it. Because nothing is easy in this world. You need to think through what it is that you want to do. How am I going to get there? Who are the people I think can help me along the way? Am I willing to consult them? Am I willing to take their advice? You may not like it, but try it because it may work. Sometimes we give up too easily. But some of us, for 10 years, every day went to the legal aid center at our own cost. Nobody paid us anything because we didn't want this system to collapse. So I think persistence, clear-minded goals, focusing on your goals, finding ways in which you can overcome some obstacles, finding people, there are people out there who are willing to help, finding such people, asking for help, not being too proud to ask for help.
The Legacy Award for the Institute for African Women in Law is quite an extraordinary honor. And the woman receiving it today certainly fits the bill because she is certainly extraordinary. I had the privilege of meeting her when I was doing some work for the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda and Yugoslavia in The Hague. At that time, she was the first vice president of the ICC, the International Criminal Court. She has had an extraordinary career, starting with an outstanding academic record, and then ultimately as a law professor and becoming the first woman law professor and dean in Ghana. She worked during her career as a lawyer for women's rights, for legal aid, trying to bring equal justice for all in Ghana, and then moved on to the ICC, where justice was critical in dealing with criminal cases at the ICC. Her contributions are limitless, and it is my great honor to congratulate her on winning this award. She is the embodiment of what Nelson Mandela said, winners are dreamers who never give up. And she certainly is a winner and a dreamer who's never given up on justice, equal justice for all. Congratulations. Congratulations, my sister, on this incredible honor. The legacy.
What an incredible legacy. And I think it is a most appropriate timing for us because we have another woman with an incredible legacy also, as the first female Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, to give us her address. Madam Vice Chancellor.
Thank you very much, Mami. Our esteemed honoree, Professor, Judge, and shall I add, Auntie Ikia Kwenyinya, Dean of the University of Ghana School of Law, Professor Raymond Atogbuwa, distinguished members of the judiciary and the bar, let me acknowledge the President of the Ghana Bar Association, Mrs. Ifo-Agati, and my own roommate, Justice Jennifer Dazi, Board Chair of the Institute of African Women in Law, Mrs. Elizabeth Edu, members of the Institute for African Women in Law, and particularly recognizing Professor Dawini, faculty and staff of the University of Ghana School of Law, distinguished guests. There are so many distinguished people here. Uncle Sam, Ambassador Bosman, all of you amazing people. Our cherished students, ladies and gentlemen. It is with immense pleasure and a profound sense of purpose that I stand before you today at this truly landmark event, marking a significant collaboration between the University of Ghana School of Law and the Institute for African Women in Law. And it is particularly gratifying that today's ceremony is in honor of a distinguished academic and practitioner, Professor Ikia Kwenyinya. There's so much that we have heard about this amazing woman today, and without trying to sound repetitive, I would want to mention that some of us are where we are today because we looked up to her. We looked up to bold and audacious women like Professor Ikia Kwenyinya. Shall we give her a round of applause? This partnership resonates deeply with our university's core values, and it's an honor to address you on a matter of paramount importance, which is gender equality. The University of Ghana's commitment to fostering a campus environment where gender equality is not merely an aspiration, but a lived reality is unequivocal. It extends to every facet of our institution, from our vibrant student body to our dedicated faculty and administrative staff, and outwards to the broader university community and the larger nation that we serve. We believe that creating a truly inclusive and thriving academic space requires providing equal opportunities and dismantling barriers that hinder the progress of any individual based on their gender. This is not just a matter of policy. It is deeply ingrained in our ethos as a leading institution of higher learning in Africa. The appointment of competent females as principal officers and managers to key leadership and management positions in the university is evidence of the fact that we do not only pay lip service to this assertion, but we actually do live it. We must, however, be honest and acknowledge that the path to genuine gender equality is not without its challenges. Despite our unwavering commitment, we, like many institutions globally, grapple with deeply entrenched cultural, social, and institutional barriers. Societal norms and stereotypes, often subtly woven into the fabric of our daily interactions, can unconsciously perpetrate inequalities. Social barriers such as unequal access to resources and opportunities, both within and outside the university, can disproportionately affect women's academic and professional journeys. And institutionally, we must remain vigilant against unconscious biases that may exist within our systems and structures, hindering our progress towards a truly level playing field. Recognizing these challenges is not only a sign of weakness, but rather a crucial first step to overcoming them. It is precisely in the face of these challenges that the University of Ghana has actively pursued a range of initiatives designed to promote gender equality. We have implemented policies aimed at creating a safe and respectful campus environment, including robust anti-sexual, anti-harassment policies and frameworks that address gender-based violence. The constitution of the Equal Opportunities Board and the launch of the gender policy are all initiatives to streamline and mainstream gender issues within the university. It is interesting that only this morning I was visited by the chair and some members of the Equal Opportunities Board to receive an update on their work. We have also launched targeted programs focused on women's empowerment and leadership development, providing mentorship opportunities, amplify women's voices and contributions across strategic priority of the university, which is commitment to our faculty and staff. Furthermore, we actively seek partnerships, such as this vital collaboration with the Institute for African Women in Law, to leverage expertise and broaden our impact in advancing gender equality within the legal profession and beyond. These initiatives, while significant, are part of an ongoing and evolving effort to build a more equitable university. Indeed, we need every hand to be on board. Ultimately, achieving true gender equality and inclusion is a collective responsibility. It requires the active participation and unwavering support of every member of the University of Ghana community, and indeed our sister universities across the continent and globally. We urge everyone, students, faculty, staff, and leadership, including our alumni, to champion initiatives that promote equality and inclusivity. We encourage enthusiastic support for and adoption of model policies and the proactive development of policies and strategies that demonstrably uphold these fundamental values. Let us learn from each other, collaborate meaningfully, and work in concert to dismantle barriers and build a future where every individual, regardless of gender, can reach their full potential and contribute to a more just and equitable society. In conclusion, I reiterate the University of Ghana's steadfast dedication to gender equality. We deeply value this partnership with the Institute for African Women in Law, and we are confident that together we can make significant strides in advancing gender equality within legal education and across our communities. I would like to thank you for your presence here today and for your shared commitment to this vital cause, and to finally congratulate Professor Ikea Kweyinya once again for this award. Congratulations, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, my Vice Chancellor. I myself have been a beneficiary of some of the initiatives of the university in respect of, in regards to female academics in the university. So thank you, for a personal thank you from me. It's no surprise that the gender equality in law policy is finding a home here, because already the ground is quite fertile for these things. We'd like to invite, just to notify, there have been a few changes I'm sure you have noticed, but just to formally inform you, CJ is on the way. So we are shifting some remarks and ambushing some people to give remarks while we wait for her, because we really want her to be here when the award is actually given. So we'll move Ms. Mameya Tamaklo and Ms. Phoebe Aite. We'll move you to speak now. So yes. So Ms. Phoebe Aite is one of our newest law lecturers. So some of you may not even know her. Yes. So please welcome her with a round of applause, Phoebe.
Thank you, Mommy. Wow.
Just like the Dean, I am in awe of all the powerful women here. And as I sat back and I listened to all the amazing and extraordinary things said about Professor Ikea Kwenyi here, the lyrics of Beyonce's song, Who Run the World? Girls, girls. It kept echoing on my mind over and over again. And to be honest, at a point, I started humming to the song. I don't want you to be traumatized. I would have sung it. But on a more serious note, today, for the very first time in my adult life, singing the song felt true. It felt like destiny. It felt like the fact that, a fact we cannot deny, that indeed girls, women do run the world. And this bold truth, in fact, this unshakable confidence that I feel right now is made possible by women like Professor Ikea Kwenyi here. Women who dared to dream long before it became fashionable for us to dream. Women who challenged the status quo. Women who fought tirelessly, fearlessly, unapologetically, not for themselves, but for the rights and dignity of others. Professor Kwenyi here, thank you. Thank you for walking on floors that were meant for you to slip and giving us the blueprint to do same. Thank you for opening doors. Not only that, but you kept the doors wide open so that girls like me, a girl from Bukom, can actually dare to dream. Thank you. And in fact, thank you for shattering the glass ceilings that were made not to break. Thank you for shattering it for us. And let me assure you today that your work, your sacrifice will not go in vain. In fact, it will never go in vain. I am not a fan of maths, but let me give you some figure that speaks volume to the future you've helped shape. So right here in the University of Ghana School of Law, between 2019 and 2020 academic year, the class was composed of 89% of brilliant and amazing young women. Let me let that sink in. 89%. Professor, we are coming, and we are coming in our numbers. In fact, we are not only coming, but we are coming prepared, we are coming determined, and we are coming to take our seat, our rightful seat at the table. And when we do, we will remember who paved the way for us. Thank you. And finally, because of you, we know the answer to Beyonce's question, who ran the world? Indeed, girls truly, truly ran the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For a minute, I nearly chanted, girls! It was so inspiring, I almost forgot myself. Miss Mamia Temoklu, it's a tough act to follow, I know, but that's your own too.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Today, I feel larger than life. I've had the opportunity to be before my seniors, most seniors, and speak to you on this esteemed occasion. With all due respect, and on behalf of the LSU, I recognize and uphold all established protocols, because if I attempt to mention them all, my 2 minutes will be up. So respectfully, I'll get right to it. As future legal practitioners, today remind us of the profound responsibility we bear in shaping our legal system that is not only just but truly equitable. We have had the privilege of learning from our esteemed speakers. For us students, today is a call to action. As the school has adopted this policy, we've been challenged, interrogated, to challenge entrenched biases and to advocate for reforms that make justice truly equitable. And here, the role of legal education cannot be overstated. It is fitting, therefore, that today we celebrate a towering figure in legal academia and advocacy, Professor Ekia Kwinihia. Professor is more than a distinguished scholar. She's a builder, literally and figuratively, the visionary behind the very building we call home at the University of Ghana School of Law. These walls stand as a testament to her vision, housing generations of students who have and will continue to shape Ghana's legal landscape. Through her scholarship, mentorship, and commitment to gender equality, she has not only transformed legal education, but has inspired a movement, one that demands justice, fairness, and inclusion. Having our seniors here, we recognize the living legacy she has created, the doors she has shaped, the minds she has shaped, the ideals she has championed and continue to guide us. May we in turn build upon this legacy, ensuring that the principles she has fought for are not just remembered but are realized. My fellow law students, are you inspired? Are you inspired? Let us not leave here only be inspired, but ready to act. Because true legacy is not just about what is built, but about how it continues to shape the future. Prof, for your dedication, your resilience, and your lifelong commitment to justice and advocacy, we give you Ayiko. You have paved the way, and we, the students of the University of Ghana Law School, we pledge to carry on your legacy forward. Thank you very much.
I have good news and better news. Which one would you like first? The better news is the CJ is almost here, so I see that the High Protocol Officer has gone outside, so we should be seeing her soon. The good news is there's still more wonderful stories to share about Auntie Akria, so it's a win either way. And I'd like to invite Dr. Senna Detutu, who's the coordinator for the LLB program, the LLB course in gender and the law. Doc, and my big sister.
I don't know what to say. I'll say something. I won't say much, like the dean. I joined the law faculty when Dean Ofosuama was the dean, but he was dean for a very short time. And Professor Kwenyehia took over. We call her Antiquia. And I was sitting, Mommy just told me I had to say something. There's so many things we take for granted without even knowing that we do. I came to a law faculty where the dean was a female. She was, and I thought it was normal because, hey, I had a female dean. And then there were some female lecturers as well. Auntie Akria taught me gender and the law. And it sparked an interest for me in all things gender. And I was just sitting here and I remembered it was during Auntie Akria's time as our professor or lecturer that she introduced weekly meetings to FIDA. So she taught us gender and law, and to practicalize what it is that we're learning, every Tuesday, the whole class went to FIDA to volunteer our services. And that's when we saw the law in practice. Yesterday at the retreat, we were talking about clinical education. We don't have that in the law faculty, we're working on that. But Auntie Akria introduced that many years ago. Maybe we didn't call it clinical legal studies, but that's exactly what we did. Every Tuesday, she'll get all of us, we'll go to FIDA, meets people with all sorts of stories, amazing stories, unbelievable stories. I can share one or two, but I don't have much time. But I'll share a short one. I remember in one of the meetings, so what we did was we sat and we mediated matters. You know, somebody comes, talks about their family and the stress. And I remember there was one, some married woman was sitting in front of me crying and talking about the fact that her husband doesn't eat when she comes home. And I was like, what's wrong with that? You are free. Little did I know, it's like, me, Adrian, I was like, okay, it's okay. Anyway, but it was through Auntie Equia that I got introduced to all things gender, and these days I teach gender here, and I love it. And I'll say that it sounds like a cliche, I know. Auntie Equia is wonderful, she's great, she's awesome. She is, without a doubt. Intellectually, her textbooks, we've used them for years in the gender class. As a woman, she's amazing. She looks out for us, always asks of us. Lots of my lawyer friends are her children. And as a person, she's an amazing, amazing woman and a human being. So, Antikia, thank you very much. Antikia, don't look at me like that. And I hope that we all learned something from who she is and what she's done. We may not be great, but like, was it Diana who said it? In your own little corner at home, make a difference. With your sons, make a difference. And the world will be a better place. Thank you.
Mommy's run out of excuses, but I can assure you that the CJ is coming with a motorcade, and they're almost here. But I want to tell you the reason why I was lost for words earlier. I went to the CJ's office on Friday to remind her about today's event. And I have seen few people more intent on getting something to happen. First of all, the National Economic Forum is happening this morning. And as CJ, she's supposed to be there. So we agreed that she would go for the event in the morning and then slip off at 11 so that she can get here at 11:15 or 11:30. That's why we announced earlier that the ceremony will start at 11:15 and the CJ will come at 11:30. Unfortunately, at the point she was supposed to leave is when the president started speaking. But she kept sending messages saying that she would make it. The last message I got was that the motorcade was at the airport and that they were now getting to the gate, the Okonglo gate at Okonglo. So she's definitely coming. But the remarkable thing for me was the way in which she made adjustments in order to be here for Antakya. Many people would have just said, I have another engagement and that's it. I don't know whether you've realized that what she has actually done is a breach of protocol, because you don't leave when the president has not left. But she's done that for Ikuya. I actually don't care about the protocol. But she's done that for Ikuya. The second person I spoke to about this event was the Attorney General, who, like me, was Antikuya's student. The reason why he's not here today is because the president has said that no minister should leave the conference. In other words, unlike the CJ who can leave after the opening ceremony, the ministers have been instructed not to leave. And as at yesterday night, he was still a little bitter about the instruction because he actually wanted to be here. And as I thought through these two things, what came to mind was this, that I want to live my life in a way that one day people would make such adjustments for me. And the way in which we conduct our lives is what would determine whether someday such adjustments would be made. The last thing I want to say before we go out and meet the CJ and then come back is this. I've had a number of people talk about my tenure here as dean. But what they always forget is that I decided as dean not to do any new thing, but just to build on what others have done. And it gets lost on many people because they see the things we are doing as new. They are not new. The clinical program we're just about to launch, like Senna said, was started by people like Professor Kwenye here. But the one thing I want to mention is the new law school building. The inspiration for the new law school building was Professor Kwenye here. Because the tactics we are using are the very tactics that she used to build the current premises we are in here. She started by, I see the CJ is in, she started by using volunteer experts to design the building. That is exactly what we did. She started by organizing kinky parties. Yes, I'll tell them to rise. Shall we please rise for the Chief Justice? And with the permission of the Chief Justice, I'll finish my story. She started by organizing kinky parties to get alumni and other donors to donate to this building. And that's what we are doing for the new building. She started by getting in-kind contributions for this building. And that's what we are doing for the new building. So to conclude, part of the inspiration, that's beautiful, part of the inspiration for our new law school building is Professor Kwenye here. So after saving Mami, I'll now resume my seat as she continues as Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you very much, Dean. We would like to recognize especially the presence of the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, Justice. I have to take a deep breath to be able to get the full name. My lady, may I cut the name to Justice Gertrude Tokonu? I was going for the whole name, but. And once we have the CJ in our presence, we definitely have to hear her speak. But just so that you can catch your breath a little, I just wanted to say, I teach gender and the law here, and I'm the coordinator for the master's program in gender and the law. And Auntie Akuya, we still cite your work. It's still relevant. We are still fighting the battles you started for us. And when people ask, why are you doing gender rights? Why are you doing disability rights? There's money in corporate. I mean, it's true, there's money in corporate. We are reminded that there was a time when there was nobody talking about gender. It was unpopular, and yet someone decided to do it. And so we still do it. And that fight will continue. And so if we stand tall, it is because we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, like Auntie Akuya. So thank you for giving us that voice, that courage to speak up for unpopular things. It's not popular to talk about disability rights, and it's still not popular to talk about gender rights, but we do, and we will. So thank you. And with that, I would like to invite the most distinguished personality, the CJ of the Republic of Ghana, for her address. My lady.
Good morning. I was just going to say my address is in a laptop, and I know the laptop is somewhere close by. Thank you. Mommy, you shouldn't have called me this early. I'm even trying to remember the. Okay. Good morning. Madam Vice Chancellor, Dean, Head of IAWL, Professor Japa, a distinguished honoree, Auntie Ekuya. That's what we all call her. And all distinguished persons present. It is a matter of great honor for me to join you this morning to perform the function of honoring Professor Justice. I'm just wondering, Excellency, Her Excellency, Professor Justice, Mrs. Ekuya Kwenyehia, Auntie Ekuya, for short. I first encountered Auntie Ekuya as a 17-year-old, just entering my 18th birthday, when I came into the University of Ghana. And she became my lecturer. From being my lecturer, she became my mentor. And Auntie Ekuya, as I've written in the speech, I'm struggling very hard to open. We recall your elegance. We recall your total commitment to coming to work. And as you know, students will always want to find out so that I'm able to open. I'm trying to remember the password. This is what happens when you depend on secretaries all the time. And yes, I remembered it. I tell you why I'm late. I'm coming from the National Economic Dialogue, which I don't think any of us anticipated at the time you set the date. But by reason of my position, I had to be there. And I'm very glad that I was there. And we just finished, and I asked His Excellency the President, I said, immediately we finished with the pictures, can I run out? He said, yes, of course. And then so they started with the pictures, and you're just standing there, which other picture? And when they finished, I ran out. And I'm glad that I found all of you still here. I was almost afraid that the event would be over. But I have so much to say about Auntie Ekuya that I insist on reading my speech. So I know you've been sitting a long time, but please bear with me as I do this. To commence, I confess that I think that Professor Ekuya Kwenyehia is about one of the most remarkable personalities any community can be blessed to have. My first encounter with Professor Kwenyehia was as a starry-eyed 18-year-old engulfed in the anxiety and fervor characteristic of nearly all new law students. She was a criminal law lecturer, and I held profound admiration for her intellect and professional manner in which she carried herself and delivered learning to us. She was not only an engaging lecturer, but also an exceptionally accommodating one. For us, her students, she epitomized intelligence, class, composure, elegance, and dignity. My admiration for her was considerable and remains so. As is well known, probing to know more about lecturers that I admired is a practice common to students. That is how I learned that Professor Kwenyehia had a family, especially specifically young children, and she used to bring them to the faculty. My curiosity about her, how she managed the balance of family life and delivery of work, and of course, my admiration for her increased exponentially as I watched the remarkable dexterity with which she balanced her responsibilities and as an academic, alongside her duties as a mother and wife and a lawyer. To my younger self, she managed these numerous responsibilities with such apparent ease that I was left with no doubt that I too could aspire to achieve a similar balance. To provide some context, I had grown up in a home where my father departed for work each day. My mother, who had been a teacher when I was very young, had turned to home-based industries such as baking and sewing by the time I became a teenager. Consequently, I was not accustomed to witnessing a woman prepare herself in the morning and leave for work in the formal sector. Observing Professor Kwenye here navigates this process with such elegance and apparent ease significantly influenced my outlook. I envisioned my future through her example as a respected lawyer, a devoted mother, and a homemaker. Her subsequent appointment as the first female dean of the law faculty stands as a testament to the respect and admiration she clearly garnered among her predominantly male colleagues at that time. After qualifying as a lawyer, I completed my national service with FIDA, where I had the privilege of learning under the mentorship of Professor Kwenye here. I witnessed at first hand how to teach effectively by example while leading people unobtrusively. She taught us the rudiments of law practice, encompassing client conferencing, drafting legal pleadings, court preparation, developing strategies for cases, and the meticulous review of records and arguments. She taught us more through speech, example than speech, how a good lawyer works. The lessons she imparted during this formative period of my legal career have remained with me to date. Beyond the technical aspects of legal practice, as president of FIDA, Professor Kwenye here also conveyed essential lessons in leadership through mentorship. Her approach to leadership was characterized by a horizontal dynamic rather than a linear or hierarchical one. Despite her position as junior lawyers, she recognized our ability, our capacity to contribute meaningfully to discussions and decision-making. She valued and encouraged diverse inputs from all participants, fostering an environment where we felt empowered to articulate our perspectives. Her primary focus was on nurturing our potential and maximizing our strength to serve the underserved. It can be said that my passionate attachment to the vulnerable was developed in those simple rooms of FIDA's Legal Aid Clinic in Adabraka. And Her Excellency Professor Kwenye here was definitely among those who shaped that passion. Upon reflecting on the influence Professor Kwenye here has had on my career, I must recognize her profound impact in every strand of my leadership style, context of care, and assertive attachment to ensuring effectiveness and opportunities for the vulnerable. The value of listening to ideas and perspectives of the entire group was developed under your umbrage. It must also be said that interactions and working with Professor Kwenye here, though it ended directly within 5 years of my becoming a lawyer, when family life and private practice meant I had to drop some of my several engagements, profoundly shaping when family life and private practice meant I had to drop some of my several engagements, profoundly shaped my understanding of law and its ethical applications. Her commitment to utilizing the law as a tool for social good rather than for self-serving purposes shaped my appreciation of the value of law to date. From Professor Kwenye here and the leaders of the Legal Aid Clinic, as my voice as a lawyer, it became clear that lawyers possess a tool of strength that holds significant power within society. And this tool ought to be channeled towards fostering individual and community resilience that downs intimidation and bullying, but uplifts society constantly until it can be said unequivocally that all is well. Law has the capacity not only to resolve conflicts, but to shape policies that drive societal transformation by compelling conformity to what is right. It was under the voice of FIDA with other feminine groups that the interstate succession law of Ghana took shape to turn Ghana's cultural practices and customary law towards a more uniform and towards a more just bend. Over the years, with my increasing scopes of leadership, over the last 40 years, with my increasing scopes of leadership that I have journeyed from new lawyer to Chief Justice of the Republic, I have come to recognize that like all individuals, Professor Kwenyehia likely faced personal challenges while juggling her multiple responsibilities. Despite any obstacles she may have encountered, she constantly exhibited grace, elegance, stateliness, and revealed the proper mix of humanity, intellect, resilience, and achievement that every woman ought to know and exercise. I was profoundly elated when Professor Kwenyehia was appointed a judge at the International Criminal Court, where she served for 12 years and rose to the position of vice president. What it taught me from the distance was the beauty of versatility and the endless baskets from which any female can aspire and attain. Her contributions significantly advanced the pursuit of justice and provided degrees of closure for more of the underserved, this time not only the vulnerable of our domestic jurisdiction, but the international community of nations, especially nations that had endured egregious and inhumane rights violations as a consequence of armed conflict. Professor Kwenyehia has consistently advocated for gender equality, extending her efforts not only within the corridors of law, but also in broader societal context. Her commitment has been evident in Ghana, her home country, across the African continent and on the global stage. Her career exemplifies a lifelong dedication to the empowerment of women and the recognition of their equal status within society. Throughout her career, she has represented Ghana and the interests of women with exemplary integrity, and her name has become synonymous with excellence. We cannot forget her work, her dedicated work while representing Ghana on the UN Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, and her contribution to the committee's rapid ascension in respect and influence in numerous countries. Through sheer demonstration of ability, her excellency, her leadership, and Professor Kwenyehia has demonstrated that every individual, regardless of gender, can attain your dreams and aspirations, and that any undertaking can be raised to the stars with the utmost diligence. Antequia, as I stand before you today, I'd like you to remember me in the mold of my younger self between the ages of 17 and 18 in the law faculty. My ability during the journey to balance accomplishments as a mother, a wife, a lawyer, and a fair and conscientious judge who employs law as an instrument of compassion and strength owe much to your mentorship. For this, and I and all lady lawyers, and indeed all lawyers who have studied at your feet and through your eyes and hands, extend a heartfelt gratitude to you. Your tenure in academia has been profoundly empowering. Your work with FIDA has proven to be a blessing and a transformative force for many women seeking legal assistance. Your service on the bench has been groundbreaking, and your roles as both mother and wife has shown us how to do it and how it can be done. The International Association of Women Lawyers could not have chosen a more fitting occasion to honor you with a legacy award than today, coinciding with the launch of the public adoption of the Gender Equality in Law Model Policy. Professor Kwenyehia, I am deeply honored and privileged to have moved from 18-year-old student to Chief Justice of the Republic in your hand. Thank you. and to have the privilege of presenting you with the award. Thank you very much, Auntie Equia. Thank you. Could I ask us all to stand and give her a standing ovation? You don't have drum rolls. All right. So I'll return to my seat while they sort out the protocols of the award. Thank you.
It is a most difficult thing to be MC and to be starstruck at the same time. Auntie Equia, it is my fervent prayer that someday I too will have the privilege of boasting that I taught a CJ. That is such a, I am overwhelmed. It's not a quality that an MC should have, because right now I'm a bit lost. Do pardon me. It's not every day that one gets to talk after the CJ. To present the award, we'd like to ask a few people to join us. You line up on either side of the stage, with me marking the middle. And I'm told that you are aware of this already, so please, if we could come up. Dr. Angela Dramina Boaje, those on my left, Dr. Angela Dramina Boaje, Miss Isabel Boateng. For those of my students who don't know her, you will be asking her for a job someday, so do clap when I mention their names. Mrs. Estelle Apia, Miss Esine Okujeto, Mr. Frederick Abu Bonstra, Miss Pauline Annaman, please, all on my left, please. Mrs. Victoria Bath, Vice President, GVA. Miss Nana Keja Apiedu, she taught us banking, I believe, in the School of Law, in law school. Miss Adelaide Bene Prempe, another amazing woman in law. And then to my right, Justice Sophia Issa, Justice Jennifer Dadzi, Justice Juliana Ado Yobo. If they are here, please could you join us? Justice Barbara Tetechawi, Ambassador Anna Bosman, Miss Amina Kagua, Dr. Sena Day Tutu, and Dr. Edem Okujetu. And then if you could please join me on stage. If I could help someone to help me move this a little, I'll do it myself, no worry. Dean Raymond Atuguba, Professor Japa, Miss Elizabeth Edu, Professor Dowona Hammond, if you could please come to the middle, leaving a bit of space for our honoree. And then my Vice Chancellor, Professor Nanaba Apia Alfo, a CJ, Justice Gertrude Tokonu, and Professor Equia Kunyehia, our honoree, will be in the middle as we present the award. Shall we have Mrs. Sheila Minka Premo, Honorable Diana Snabadapa, and Ms. Esine Okujetu to read the citation for us. Such a great woman, not one person should read. We should all get it.
Thank you very much once again, Mami. Citation in honor of Professor Justice Her Excellency Equia Kwenyehi, Auntie Equia. Auntie Ekuya for short. Professor Ekuya Kwenye here. Your unwavering commitment to empowering women and girls through the law has left an indelible mark on the University of Ghana School of Law and beyond. As the first female dean of the University of Ghana School of Law, your leadership broke barriers for women in leadership. The new building for the School of Law was built under your leadership.
Professor Ekuya Kwenye here. Your scholarship and advocacy have significantly contributed to advancing the rights of women and girls in Ghana, Africa, and beyond. Your dedication to ensuring equal access for all has been instrumental in shaping laws, policies, and practices that promotes gender equality and social justice.
Professor Kwenye here. The Institute for African Women in Law, the University of Ghana School of Law, women lawyers in Ghana, and the Ghana Bar Association as a whole are honored to recognize your outstanding achievements and unwavering commitment to legal education and gender equality. Your legacy will continue to inspire generations of legal professionals and serve as a testament to the transformative power of education and advocacy in creating a more just and equitable society.
Professor Ekuya Kwenye here. You are hereby recognized for your transformative dedication to legal education and lifelong career in promoting gender equality in law nationally, regionally, and internationally. Thank you, Auntie Ekuya. Thank you very much. Thank you. You may take your seats now. We will now listen to our esteemed honoree who will. Will you sit down?
Do I really have to say anything? Because to be honest with you, I'm never frightened or embarrassed or afraid of anything, but today I'm overwhelmed. I really don't know what to say. I'm very, very grateful for this honor. Not just the honor, but the kind of people who have taken time off their activities to come and be here. The things that have been said, I don't remember half of them. And it's not the first time it's happened to me. One time I went to the court building, that big complex. And then somebody saw me and said, Auntie Ekuya, somebody's looking for you, somebody's looking for you. So he ran and brought a gentleman. He said, Ma, I've been looking for you for years. I said, what have I done? He said, you helped me when I came to the University of Ghana. You didn't know me from Adam. I didn't know anybody, but I told you my story. You actually went to Legon Hall, I believe, spoke to the hall master and senior tutor, and they gave me a room. And because of that, I was able to get my degree. I couldn't remember. I was looking at him. I really couldn't remember. So today, if I say I'm overwhelmed, I'm really overwhelmed. I'm not easily overwhelmed, but today I'm overwhelmed. And I don't know what to say, except to say thank you very much for having put your trust in me. Thank you so much. As I listened to all that was being said, I was wondering who they were talking about. Because it couldn't be me. My role model was my mother. My mother was a teacher. And because she was a teacher, I didn't actually want to be a teacher because they never had money. Every time you want money, there's no money. Every time. So I didn't want to be a teacher. But I saw my mother carrying my youngest brother on her back and teaching in the classroom. And I said, if I have to do it, I'll do it. I remember carrying my two children, Elikem sitting behind Uncle Sammy, and Akofa, taking them to school because my house help suddenly decided she was tired. It was a Friday. I took them to school, finished my teaching. We come from here, it's not very far. Put them in a car and drove to Ebru to see my parents. As soon as I took the children to the house, I got out of the car. I started crying. My father said, what is it? I said, my maid has left, sister, and so I'm sadly with the children, so I have to take them to school. So he turned to my mother and said, you have taught for 35 years. There's nothing that you are going to teach again. Why don't you stop work and come and help them? And I must stand up for my mother. She put in her resignation and came home and spent the rest of her working life helping me look after my children. And I'm forever grateful. And I'm really, really grateful for what she did. I couldn't do enough for her. When I was elected a judge of the ICC and lived in The Hague, I remembered vaguely her siblings used to laugh at her because she didn't have many clothes. And they would say, teacher, into my bag. So I made up my mind that my mother would wear Vlisco for the rest of her life. And on her 80th birthday, we built her a house and put her in it. And I remember telling my aunties, you have all been gossiping about my mother. She has one cloth, she has one slippers, she was once other. Now you see her for who she is. So I'm really grateful for what has happened today. I cannot thank you enough. But you'll get your reward. I'm a child of God, and He rewards everybody who rewards me. One thing I've learned through my career is taking responsibility for the things you want to do. You have to know what you want to do, and you have to take responsibility for it. I remember we had the law faculty at the barrack-like buildings at the beginning of the university. 3 lines with the library at the end. And I kept telling all the deans that came, let's build a new faculty. Ufusoma had the worst. And he said, where am I going to steal the money to build it? I said, you don't have to steal money to build. If you make up your mind to build, you can do it. Okay, make it's all no fee. Okay, you can say no fee. So when I was made dean of the faculty, one thing I said to myself, that if I don't build a state-of-the-art building for the Faculty of Law, then my life is not worth living. Because I had my ideas. I had architects friends. I called them, I said, if you design this building for me, they charge 4% of the cost of the building as their fee. This will be your legacy. You will know, everybody will know that you designed it for us for free. He said, I will do it, but my engineers have to be paid. I said, fine, I'll find the money to pay them. So I gave him I have been to many law schools in America. So I gave him my brief, a combination of many things from different places. He said, Auntie, I'll do it. At the end, we paid the engineers about 10 million cedis. It was nothing. We got it from. I sat in my office and I called 5 lawyers, 2 million each. The dean said I used to have kinky parties. Yes, we had kinky and fish and beer. We got the beer from Accra Brewery and Kumasi Star. We didn't pay for it, but we sold them at extraordinary prices. I remember one very senior lawyer who wanted a beer. When he was told the price, he said, what? Why do we have to buy beer at that price? Wasn't it you? Said, go to Antioquia and explain to him that you can't pay. Say, no, here's the money. I called this building the house that Jesus built because I didn't build it. I did not build it. Jesus built it. At one time, I was given a bill by the builder, the Chinese contractor, of 1 billion and something. I'd never seen 1 billion written on paper. So when they brought the bill, I said, how much is this? My secretary said, Mommy, it's a very big amount. I said, so where are we going to get it from? Anyway, long before then, I had done my homework with the president. I went to the president and said, Mr. President, I know you didn't go to law school here, but do you know our law school? He said, more than and come on, and you. So I said, well, I'm trying to build a new one, and I'll need help. He sent me to go and call the Minister of Finance then was, this is my senior at Motor School. Osafumafu. And the Minister of Education was anyway. When Osafumafu saw me at the president's office, he said, hey, well, now didn't someone who school, but I come once much. And I'm saying, what have you done to me? Why do I have to complain about you to the president? He said, that's what you find something to say. I said, haven't said anything to the president about it. The president was in the But I told him, I said, we don't have money. He said, okay, look into your, what's the name of the educational fund, Get Fund. Look into Get Fund, see what you can help them with. They are raising their own funds, but we need to help them. And so the Chinese brought me this bill. I used to teach in Northwestern University in Chicago every October. So I had the bill when I was going to Chicago, but I left it on my desk. I said, Bill, no, daha. Then I told God, I remember putting the bill down in the office and telling God, I don't know, I've never seen this kind of money before. I don't know where I'm going to get it. You have to find it for me. If you don't find it, I will never get it. And then I left for Chicago. About 4 days after arrival, I dreamt and I was sitting under a big mango tree. I don't know what I was doing there. Then somebody came running with a bill, stamped paid. He said, the money has been paid. I said, thank you, Father. I knelt down, thanked him, came back. When I came back, he had been paid. I don't know how it was paid, and I don't know who paid it, and I never asked. Because if you don't ask, you are not told. So I know I've done some extraordinary things. Sometimes I used to ask myself, what are you getting yourself into? Are you not happy in your corner? Why do you have to go and get this building, which has become an albatross? The day I said that, a voice said within me, it is not an albatross. You will finish it. And I said, indeed, I will finish it. And then I was elected onto the ICC, and I had to go. By the time, the Vice Chancellor and I were always at loggerheads. Professor Adaye Mensah, because they had the chemistry building, which had been standing there for over 30 years, which was not finished. And he didn't understand why my building was going up so fast. So one time, Get Fund gave me money as part of the university. They didn't give it to me. Professor Adaye Mensah took it. Then I went to Get Fund myself. I said, from now on, you give me my money for the law faculty, not for the university. The man looked at me. I didn't know him for anyway. He said, okay, I'll give it to you that way. I said, don't mix my money with the University of Ghana money. He said, well, I said, otherwise I'll never get it. You give me 4 billion. It's been taken. So I have to find money to pay my contractors. Anyway, the rest is history. We are sitting here, a very nice place. Being able to have our functions in decent accommodation. That is all I wanted. And I got it. And now they are building something which is even bigger. Even bigger. And I used to tell the lawyers, if you don't pay, Raymond, the list has not come out. The list of the donors for the building, because we said we'll put it at the front of this. So please, make sure that it's there. Because your grandchildren will say, Grandpapa, your name is not here, so which means you didn't donate to the building. But I'm so glad that I have so many mentees. I made it a point to mentor a lot of the young ladies who came through my hands. Because the university is a very interesting place. When you are in secondary school, you are under house mistresses, house masters, etc. Once you get to university, you get a certain freedom which is really extraordinary. You can do what you like, when you like, because nobody is going to ask you any question. And I thought for some of the younger ones, like her, they were 17, they were very young, they were very impressionable. They could fly off the angle. So I made it a point to look out for them. I made it a point to go and ask them, what are you doing this weekend? Why are you going to this place? Is it necessary? Because they needed some direction. But their parents were not going to come here and direct them. So the least I could do was to make sure that they went on a straight path. And I'm glad a lot of them did. And because of them, we have extraordinary women lawyers in this country. Very extraordinary. I'm telling you all this because I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I am really overwhelmed. I am very happy. I thank you. Maybe I should take this opportunity to thank my husband, the long-suffering husband of mine. When the children were ill and we had to go to Legon Hospital, I drove him and the children to the hospital. Then I went to teach. When I finished teaching, then I'll send him back to the house. And then he'll go to his office. And he did all that without complaining. So thank you very much. Thank you. It was not easy balancing work, home, academia. And in academia, you publish or perish. And you don't publish with children hanging around you. So my children went under strict discipline. 7 o'clock, they were in bed. Because it is then that I will be able to sit down and do my writing and do my research. And unfortunately, their children are suffering the same thing at my hands. Because otherwise, you don't have time for yourself. Alikam's son tell me, Grandma, I'm 10, so I have to go to bed at 8. I said, not in my house. You are 10, so you go to bed at 7. So I can also think. And I said, your parents are okay, nothing happened. They had the same discipline. They slept at 7, but nothing happened to them. They've grown up straight and correct. So I don't make any allowances for them. But one thing I have found, taking responsibility is very important in leadership. If you don't take responsibility, you cannot be a good leader. You have to think through everything you want to do, every step. And having thought it through, you now work out a strategy that will take you there. Nobody is going to do it for you. And even as you are doing it, your colleagues are not going to hail you that you have done well. They will find fault with what you are doing. I say, yes, also visit and I left in July 2003. The building was about 80% complete. Unfortunately, because I was not here, they compromised on some of the parts. But at least we have a building. So I hope that Professor Japa, Dr. Japa, you want to walk in my shoes. I told you to walk in my shoes. But don't make the mistakes that I made. Because life will be much easier for you if you don't make the mistakes that I made. But I'll help you walk in it. And I thank you all, everyone here. You have my heartiest appreciation for being with me, for celebrating me. Some of my classmates are here. The former registrar, Teddy, is my mate. Professor Kwachi is here, Mother School, January 1960. And it's
Thank you very, very much. Please take your seats. Thank you so much. Having rearranged the schedule, I find myself without closing remarks. And so I take the liberty as the MC to make them myself. Because why not? I may not get this opportunity again. So, Prof. Japa, maybe you'd like to say a few words to close up before we go? Okay. So I would like to thank you all for coming, and I would like to end on a poetic note. A Song of Life by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow has many gems in it, but the most oft-quoted verse says, lives of great men, in this case, great women, all remind us we can make our lives sublime and departing, leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Auntie Equia, your footprints are indelible. I don't think there's any lawyer, perhaps unless they are older, there's no lawyer who has not been directly or indirectly, either you taught them or we were taught by somebody you taught. You have raised a generation, should I say generation, 1,000 generations of lawyers, and we are still raising more. So your legacy will live on forever. You have true immortality, which is what we all strive for. So thank you for the kind of work that you have done. Mbone Jumapa, I told my father a few years ago when he was surrendering his job to my sister and was worried about transition, I said, a true legacy is one of which you do not have to speak. It should speak for itself. And if you would be a true leader, if you think that you have succeeded, the thing that you have left must succeed, must survive after you. Not only has it survived, it has flourished, as you can see from this room. Practically everyone here has been taught by you or by someone who was taught by you. So your legacy truly has succeeded. And we thank you so much for the work that you have done. We will now rise for the University of Ghana anthem, after which we'll do the order of photography. Thank you very much. We will now have the photographs in this order. Please take your seat. My apologies. So that we don't have to keep moving Antioquia, we will respectfully request that we'll have to move the chairs behind Antioquia, so we'll move them this way so that you can come, so that we don't have to move. And then we'll have the pictures. First, the honoree with all the guests on the stage. So while we do that, then we'll move the chairs from behind you. Mr. Brown and team, can I please get some help to get the chairs off on this side? Neum? While we do this, I'll tell you about the first time we used this building. I'm honored to be in the first batch that ever sat in this building. So we did a few months there, which we didn't like, I'll tell you that. And then we were told one day, we are coming to the new building. And everyone was so excited because who doesn't like brand new? So Antioquia, thank you. You gave us a new building. For the students who are here, if you know how hot that old room was. And a very stuffy library, yes, a very, very stuffy library.